Today at River Road Garage, we're going to be changing the ignition in a 2002 Arctic Cat 500. To get started on this, we're going to remove the speedometer from the front of the four-wheeler. We're going to take a T30 Torx and remove the 2 bolts beneath it. And there, with the 2 bolts removed, you should be able to pull it forward just a little bit to get it off. And then the plastic's loose. And we're going to go ahead and set the bolts aside on our toolbox so we don't lose them. So there's one more T30 bolt here on the left side of that plastic housing we're going to remove. And we're going to set this bolt to the side and then move on to the actual ignition. So now to get the ignition out. The ignition has a plastic collar around it that twists on to keep it in place. So you can either take a screwdriver and set in the notch and tap it, but most of the time that breaks the plastic. So I like to get a pair of long needle nose and try going side to side if you can, and slowly twisting it out, and you should be able to remove it fairly easily. And then you should be able to push it in and pull the plastic off. So you are down to the wiring. Now we just got to unhook it. Alright, now how to get this ignition unhooked from the four-wheeler. You'll just look at the connector and you'll see that there's a little tab coming off the four-wheeler end. And you put your straight screwdriver right in there and it'll pry up just a little bit. And then just gently tug on the end with the ignition and it'll pop right out. And I already have another one here ready to go for it. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in. And you hear the click and you're good to go. So now we got it plugged in, we're going to go ahead and remove the collar that's on the head of the ignition. And you can see a little step right here that goes in this notch to keep the whole ignition from turning when we want to turn the key. We're going to go ahead and we're going to slide the plastic right in over the top of it. Careful trying to keep the key in the same position so that it sits back in its notch, which it feels like it did, which I can see now it does. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take that collar and we're going to start it back on, and we're going to draw up on it by finger tightening it. And then it'll just pull that ignition right up into the hole. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take our pliers and tighten it up just a little bit more so that we don't have to worry about it. And then we'll move on to the other side. So now we're back to the left side and we're going to go ahead and line the hole up with the threads. And we're going to put our bolt back in with that T30 Torx. And we're going to move to the front. Now we're back to the speedometer and we're just going to pick it up so we can get the holes lined up. And with our T30 Torx, we're going to just start the bolts in. One in each side so we make sure we got both holes started before we tighten it down. And we'll let them snug it up. And there you go. And that's how you put an ignition in a 2002 Arctic Cat 500. We thank you for watching the video, and we should be starting a series on this four-wheeler with all the other issues it has and installations we're going to do. So keep watching and thank you.